Day one of Pittsburgh Steelers OTAs. Everyone wants to talk about the quarterback. It's all about the QB1. Who's going to take that spot for the Steelers in 2022? And it appeared in multiple spots that first quarterback to take reps was Mitch Trubisky, followed by Mason Rudolph, and then the rookie Kenny Pickett. It first appeared in a tweet, and then it was later confirmed again by Kevin Dotson.
It's a different offensive line. Have to get used to potentially 3 starting quarterbacks by week 1.
I would say just for camp, but they pretty much said it already that Mitch was number 1.
Am I concerned? No. I'm actually not surprised at all this was the pecking order either, because I could see why a team would give the veteran quarterbacks first shot at the snaps, and then you let the rookie quarterback pretty much earn it as he goes. Football etiquette, right? Hell, if Big Ben back in 2004, when he was the 11th overall pick in the draft, didn't get any preferential treatment over a guy like Tommy Maddox, then why would Kenny Pickett get any of that in this case, being the 20th overall pick? I think it's just how it's done. But again, I'm really not concerned. Kenny's going to get his chance to win the QB1 spot over the rest of this offseason, especially when training camp comes around. No one's winning QB1 just based off day one of OTAs. And Tomlin actually reiterated that as well.
No, we're just working right now, teaching and learning. There'll be plenty of time for that. I understand the nature of your question.
Right.
But nobody's going to win a job or lose a job out here in shorts in May. So pardon me if I don't give you what you're looking for.
But if for some reason Kenny Pittsburgh doesn't win the job this offseason, then I do think Mitch or Mason will do just fine. It's just I think Pickett's the preference. Dude was a Heisman finalist, reinvigorated the Pitt program last year, led us to an ACC championship, and the Steelers drafted him in the first round. Consider that all the quarterbacks were on the board at the time, and also consider we drafted him in the first round with these quarterbacks, Mitch and Mason, on the Steelers roster. Like, there's a reason there. It's not like we took him in the 3rd round or just the kind of guy later in the draft. No, we took him in the 1st, and we were actually thinking about trading up. So we'll see how this whole quarterback competition plays out. But that's it for the quarterbacks. In other news, Steelers defensive lineman Stephon Tuitt did not show up to day one of OTAs. Now, it's not the end of the world because this portion of OTAs is still considered voluntary. But it's a little bit disappointing because I still think we're looking for some certainty with Tuitt and whether or not he's going to play for the Steelers in 2022. But it's not all that bad that he didn't show up because there's an Uno reverse card. It's basically been confirmed that he's going to be back with the team next year. Cam Hayward had this to say. Says Stephon Tuitt is in Indy, where he lives, but he is confident Tuitt will play for the Steelers this season. He said he knows Tuitt is putting in the work. And Tyson Alualu also shared this picture on Instagram, which also shares a similar sentiment that he expects Tuitt to be back. So forget that he's not here in May during OTAs. Just focus on he'll be here when it matters. And speaking of who wasn't in attendance, it seems like Diontae Johnson was not at OTAs either. But we've already talked about how this is more contract related. You just got to see how it goes, especially when you get closer to the mandatory stuff. I just don't think Diontae has much leverage in this situation, but we'll wait and see how he plays it. And in more Diontae Johnson related news, this is something that popped up on my Twitter feed recently, and I thought I could talk about it, but just briefly, I don't want to give it too much attention because the PFF clowns are up to no good again. Diontae was not named in an article by a PFF analyst. He was doing a rankings or a tier list as a top 32 receiver in the NFL. Listen, we have our qualms about Diontae. We would like him to maybe catch the ball a little bit more. He drops it in some inopportune times, but to not have him in the top 32 is absolutely laughable. Dude made a Pro Bowl last year, so right there, that qualifies him for, at least having a top 10 season in 2021? And that's probably even being generous. I mean, if you look at the stats, I think he was closer in the top 6 to 8 range. So I don't know what PFF is up to here. I don't think this really deserves too much more of a reaction. It speaks for itself. Just the headline. Diontae Johnson ranked by PFF, not in the top 32. If you're having a bad day, just read that headline, sit back, and laugh because I think that's what it's intended for now. At least that's what I'm taking it as. It's comedy. That's it for Big Deke News, though. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think of day one of OTAs, quarterback competition, Stephon Tuitt, Diontae Johnson, whatever. Stay chilling. Peace.